All right, well, welcome and thank you so much for joining us for the second installment of our 4-week meditation program. My name is Katie and I work at the Sacramento Public Library, where books are just the beginning. We are so excited to offer this program to you today and to have local yoga instructor Kirsten Johnson with us. And we'll get to her in just a moment. But first, I wanted to mention a couple of things. First is that I'm going to be sending out a short survey at the end of the 4 weeks. So keep an eye out for that email and please feel free to share your thoughts about this program. We always appreciate hearing from you. And also, today's session is going to be recorded so that you can watch it later or share it with a friend. It'll be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is under Sacramento Public Library within the week, so you can look for it there. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Kirsten. Kirsten, take it away and everyone enjoy.
All right. Well, once again, my name is Kirsten. I am a local yoga instructor, so usually you'll see me doing yoga here at Sac Library, and thank you again for having me join this series of meditation. So usually with the yoga, we'll be doing movement, and the thing is, yoga was a long time ago when yoga was practiced, was the appetizer to meditation. So a lot of people, with the practice of yoga, it was meant to prepare the body to be able to sit for long periods of time. So I call this week, because we'll be talking about the mental and the emotional benefits of meditation before we get into the practice. So I call this week, This Is Not Your Monk's Meditation. So if you think about how meditation was way, way back, and I know there's some chat, hopefully you can hear me. Oh, cool. That's Katie. Okay. So if you can't hear me, just let her know and we'll get that all situated. But so this is not your monk's meditation. So when you think about this practice of meditation, I like to bring it into an ancient practice, all the benefits that were experienced, but also the application of how you, me, all of us can work with and find the tools in our everyday schedule. So if you think about the yoga that we practice now is not the yoga that we was practiced in the beginning. The meditation that we practice now is not the meditation as it was because of our schedules. We have cars that take us from point A to point B. We have jobs, we have families. So all of these things within the situations that we live in are not, may not have time to sit for an hour, 2 hours, 3 days. Even the thought of just being in silence sometimes actually just triggers and, activates something in someone to actually have to go that long without any movement. So that's why I call that, this is not your average. You are the monk. So we are going to create and practice some modern day types of meditations that actually will go into the benefit of that scientifically for the mind, the body, emotional benefits. And we will do 2 practices. So last week we did 3 different practices and they all involve some type of movement or some type of focus. So today the 2 practices will be mainly seated and in some stillness, but we'll give you an opportunity to move in between the practices also. So let's get just back to the practice of meditation. There's no really right or wrong way to practice. So the meditation that was done, like I said, long time ago, were done seated, maybe in a cave, maybe isolated away from everyone. The meditations that we practice now, just think about when and where you can practice. So we did those little short meditations where you can practice and how you practice in your seat. That's why I encourage you, and if you have not already, even as you're seated now, to go and find as many things, tools that you can to support, to give yourself that comfort that you can sustain being seated or being still for a while. Also the posture of meditation. A lot of people think that you have to sit there in stillness and chant and have, this really stiff kind of robotic, statuesque kind of in your body. But in order to sustain that, for long periods of time, the body's going to want to maybe move, twitch. Giving yourself permission to do that during a meditation, in anything in life, to give yourself permission to make the adjustments so that you're able to come back to the present, come back to the practice. Um, Meditation also can be done and as short as, I do a thing called stoplight meditation, where an average, I think I mentioned this before, the average stoplight is about 2 minutes. That's the longest period. Usually they're about anywhere between 60 to 90 seconds. Sometimes they're 2 minutes. Sometimes they feel like they're 5 minutes. And, you'll find those, outliers that are longer. But have you ever thought about what stoplight is as thing? So this is a opportunity to stop, to pause, and to breathe. And you can worry about when the light's going to turn green again. You can you can think about what you're doing and where you're headed, but there's also the opportunity. So there's incremental times during the day that meditation can fit into your schedule. And the advantage of that is it's your schedule. So you get to make up and you get to determine how that comes up and shows up for you. For me, meditation, and we'll think about now the benefits or the science of why do we meditate, because there's a lot of science about how the brain works, and there's a lot of unknown science about the brain. There's so many things about the brain that we have no idea. We're just tapping into it. But the science of what the benefits of meditation are amazing. So I like to think of it as my brain. Meditation is training your brain to focus, to bring your awareness and attention back to something that's in the present. And I was going to share one screen. So this is my one thing that I'm going to be sharing today, is I call it squirrel. And let's see if we can find that. Oh, share. Okay, squirrel. This is my dog, Lucy. Lucy loves to chase squirrels. Anytime she can, we're at the park, she's out there and she sees a squirrel. We'll be going on a nice little walk, and all of a sudden, boom, there goes Lucy. And she takes off. But the thing about Lucy and chasing squirrels, she never, ever really finds the squirrel. She never really catches up to the squirrel because Lucy has a leash, a tether, something to anchor her, to bring her back to the present, bring her back to all the smells, all the sights, and all the things that she has right in front of her. So that's a little bit like our brain or our mind is during meditation. We'll be breathing along, we'll be into the whole presence, and all of a sudden you get a thought, you get a distraction, you get a squirrel, and we go out chasing that squirrel. And the beautiful thing is about the practice is our breath, that reminder to take a breath in and a breath out. Brings you back to the present, back to where you are in your body, back to clearing the mind, so that you're coming back and retraining or tethering, finding an anchor, finding a focal point for your mind to be. It's like that leash, a little slight tug on the leash, a little tight little command in your brain to say, where am I? Stop chasing the squirrels, come back to the practice, come back to the walk. So that's what we'll be doing a little bit today as we practice our meditation. We won't be chasing squirrels or chasing our thoughts, but we'll come back to the present, come back to the walk. All right, just a little bit more about the benefits, and then we'll actually get into the practice. So the benefits of meditation on the mind and on the actual level of overthinking, to be able to return you back into what your present task is. It helps with your focus. It helps to reduce stress. So the thing about stress is that when the body or the brain is sensing stress, your cortisol levels actually start to increase. Meditation can return you back to being more safe and grounded into your body, so that the inflammation from that process of the brain will start to switch to a place where you are safe and you can start to breathe again. Some of the other benefits, it controls anxiety. It helps with your self-awareness, that you get a better sense of who you are and who you are internally by being able to just really concentrate and focus. I thought this was interesting, especially for us, we get older and we age and we start to having memory loss. Your attention span starts to kind of like wander. Um, we have things that keep us up all night. All of these things are able to be assisted or benefited by a regular meditation practice. And like I said, the meditation doesn't have to be an hour. There's studies that show that in as small as 1 minute, taking a stoplight meditation at a breath awareness, to longer periods, they usually recommend around between 12 and 15 minutes to really get into this practice. So we're going to approach our meditation like a marathon. We did a little 5-minute practice last week. This week, we're going to be doing 2 10-minute practices, and then we'll start to gradually build and extend the time so that you can find the practice that works for you. A couple more benefits about controlling pain and decreasing blood pressure I found were very interesting. The physical benefits of having the mind and the breath to work in connection with that effect on the body. So for as far as pain, that it helps to reduce the inflammation, and it also helps to reduce the stress and the symptoms of depression that may be associated with some physical pain. And then the blood pressure, which was amazing, is that the breath is like the only autonomic system that you can control. And the way you can control that is by being mindful. So when you're mindful of your breath and mindful of that system in your body, then the actual benefit of reducing blood pressure comes in and falls underneath that. So it can help increase your blood flow by having your additional oxygen, and it also can reduce your symptoms of high blood pressure and just being more mindful all around health benefits. All right. And the great thing about meditation is we can do it anywhere. We can do it in a car, we can do it at a stoplight, we can do it walking, we can do it eating. So that's what we are going to do right now, is get into it. All right. So before we get into it, like I said, usually yoga was a prelim to the meditation. So if you want to move anything before you do your arms, your shoulders, your neck, shake everything out, that is a good way to just whatever is there, just maybe shaking your shoulders, jaw, making funny faces. Most of you guys are not on camera, so you can do whatever you want, all of that. All right. And then as far as the posture, so wherever you are, maybe find, and like I said, you could do this seated, you could do this lying down, you could do this walking in your car, at your desk, anywhere. So find a seat or find a comfortable body position or body shape where you can find some stillness. So even as you're finding this, maybe really get into the surface of how you are grounded. And if you're seated, I would recommend having both feet planted firmly onto the earth or the floor, or maybe you're seated in a cross leg and maybe seated on top on maybe a cushion or a pillow so that the hips are slightly elevated, and that gives maybe the legs a little bit more room to fall out and relax. So being grounded either through the feet and then grounded through the seat. So now we're talking about grounded through the seat. Find that long spine, so you start to ground down through your seat. As you inhale, lift all the way up through the spine. And then exhale, maybe soften your shoulders. And if you are, like I said, not in a place that you can close down your eyes, then maybe just turn your focus inward and you could follow along. So the first meditation that we'll be doing is doing a focused meditation or a guided meditation. And this guided meditation is going to be that tether. It's going to be that leash. It's going to give you, your brain, something to hold on to, something to come back to, something to focus on during this practice. So once you find your comfortable position, your comfortable seat, let's come into a place of awareness and maybe just take a couple of breaths in and a couple of breaths out, release it out the mouth, move your jaw again. All of this is available to you. Keep breathing here and breathing out. And like I said, if it's okay and accessible for you, go ahead and close down the eyes. Coming back into the awareness of the body, of the spine. Feel yourself rooted. Settling into your breath. And then you could start to turn inward to this breath, this connection, knowing that this is going to be the anchor, the tether, the leash, that when those thoughts come, squirrel, you want to go chasing, you can always come back to a breath in and a breath out. Feel that for yourself. Breath in, exhale out. And no, you don't have to be anywhere but right here with this breath. Right here in this moment. And continue to connect with your breath, and we'll take a little journey. And you can imagine on this journey, you're starting at a place outdoors as we begin to walk. And imagine yourself walking in a forest out in nature. How does that feel for you? Taking one step at a time in your mind's eye. You may envision all the trees, the different colors. Any wildlife you can see and connect with. How does it feel to walk and imagine what the temperature would be like? Maybe there's rays of sun on this journey of your walk. And how does it make you feel when you see all the magnificent colors of green, the lushness, the earth? Continue to breathe in, breathing out. And maybe with each breath, you can start to imagine what it smells like in this forest. The texture. Maybe you with your mind's eye, extend your hand and feel the moss on the trees, the leaves as they rustle through your fingers. The wind, the breeze on your skin, the ray of sun as you go from shadow to light. Keeping with your breath, notice how this feels for you. Inhale and exhale. And as you continue on this walk, you see that ahead, there seems to be an open space, a meadow, and you can hear the sounds of water. Taking your time, slowly start to walk toward this open space, listening to the calming, relaxing sounds of the stream. All around you, looking all around, just absorbing, embracing, just savoring all the beauty as you slowly start to walk through this open space. And once you get to this open space, you look around and there's just the brightest, most colorful flowers and greenery, even more creatures and animals and sights to behold. Maybe you stop right here and just take it all in, do an inventory of what do you see in your mind's eye. How does it make you feel when you look at all this beauty, all the nature? Maybe you start to look up at those clouds, just like the thoughts rolling by, and you let them go. Keep breathing and taking it all in. And then you continue walking each step, each breath, towards the water. Taking your time, noticing all the surface changes from forest to meadow, maybe to the sand or the rocky shore of the river. And then when you get to the river, you notice a canoe. It's waiting for you. And you make your way into this vessel and you push off from the shore. And even though you have oars, you just allow yourself to float, to drift, just to be, just for a moment. All the while you're breathing and just allowing for anything and everything to float on by. Breathe in. Breathe out. You finally pick up that oar and you slowly start to paddle. And finally coming onto the other side of the banks of the river. Getting out of the canoe. And sitting on the shore. And stay here as long as you need to. In this place, in this forest, in the meadow, in the river, or just seated on the shore. So I'll stay here for about another minute or two. And just notice what comes up for you. Just breathing. Maybe you're staying here just seated, inhaling and exhaling. Just breathe. Just be here. And then eventually you start to make your way back into the canoe. Taking that journey back to the other side of the shore. Maybe you stop and notice things as you walk through the meadow that you didn't notice the first time around. Take a moment to pause, to look around, to take a full breath in, absorb it all, release it all out. Making your way back through the forest, through the trees, through all the shadows, and through all the light. Taking a full breath here, inhale. On the breath, last breath out the mouth. Slowly start to open your eyes, start to move, and start to just let that settle in. So that was just a guided visual meditation of taking a walk through a forest. And the thing about it is, you can make up your destination. I do think sometimes, like, making it up in my own mind, this is a benefit of listening to someone else do it, because like, your brain gets distracted and then you start daydreaming, and then you start making a list of like, oh yeah, I could do that the next time I go on vacation, and all of these other little things again, like I said, all of these other things so finding a guided meditation, even like sometimes I'll read a meditation, but actually finding someone to actually guide, and so that you can listen to that, keeps your brain and your mind occupied, so that when you want to go around chasing squirrels, there's that little tight little thing to bring you back to, oh, where am I? Even if it's only in your mind. So in your mind's eye, the guided meditation will only give you like the direction, but then you also have a little bit of room to really come into your full imagination, to really use that, and within the perimeters of a guided meditation, so that it keeps you into the present. Oh, thank you. Someone said I love the guided meditation. So that's one thing. And so that is one type of guided meditation. We'll do another meditation also. So one type of guided meditation is where someone is kind of like giving you the roadmap, and you are filling in the blanks. That's what I call everything when I forget things, is filling in the blanks. And this is one of the things I was going to go back to as far as meditation. So, or the brain. If it doesn't have anything to hold on to, it gets distracted. Have you ever gone from one place to another, and then you forget, like you leave one room and you forget why you went to the next room? Or for me, it's like I go into the bathroom with a spatula. Why am I carrying a spatula in the bathroom? Because I'm distracted. My brain is thinking about all these other things instead of what I'm actually doing. So this next meditation is going to give you also a focus. So there's other things that people use to stay focused. One would be a guided one. One would be coming up with a mantra, a saying, an affirmation, a slogan, anything that you would be meaningful for you. So I would like this meditation, instead of me telling you what that is, for you to come up with, and I'll give you a little bit of guidance. So this will be a gratitude meditation. And same thing, we'll be seated. Some other tools that people use for meditation are like mala beads. I have a mala necklace where you can count this. Sometimes having something that you can hold, physically touch, will actually keep the mind focused. So mala beads or like a crystal, you can put that in your hand. But today we'll use we'll use the imagination, your brain, your mind, to come into a gratitude meditation. So this is going to be a focused meditation where you choose what you will be focusing on, what in your life that you would like to offer and to give gratitude. All right, so once again, let's shake it all out, move it. If you are seated and you've been seated for that other one, maybe you want to stand up, do a little stretch before you head into this one, this second meditation. And so this second meditation will do like I said, a little short, brief gratitude meditation. Once again, inviting you to come into what is gratitude for you. So we'll start this one with breath also. So find, once again, that meditative, easy posture, easy seat. And you can either do this seated, once again, feet on the ground, rooted down through your seat, lengthening through the spine. I also recommend you could do this lying down on your back if you'd like, with your feet extended, maybe, or even your knees bent and the feet solely planted onto the mat or your floor, and the knees can be knocked in toward each other. So all of those are acceptable. However it feels for you to be comfortable, to tune into your heart space. So we'll begin with some breath. I invite you to put one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And we'll begin this meditation with just breathing into these two spaces where the hand meets the body. By taking a breath in, filling up, fill into the belly, fill out the lungs, and inhale the heart and expand, chest expand. And exhale, and feel everything come back in, collapse. And once again, if it's safe for you to do so, I invite you to close down the eyes as you continue to breathe. Full breath in, full breath out. With your long spine lengthening to the top of the crown, notice your shoulders. If you can bring some softness to the jaw and ease to the face. Notice this big full breath as it comes in and enters through the nose, filling up the belly. Full breath out, everything comes back down. Just a few more rounds, just connecting with the breath. Then I invite you to bring the hand that's on the belly to meet the hand that's on the heart, if it's not already there. Noticing the body, if there's any tension or stiffness, maybe you invite a little bit of ease and softness with this breath, this next exhale. And then as you have your hands placed over this place of your heart, notice your heartbeat, the rhythm of your heartbeat. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then from the physical heart, notice what's on your emotional heart. Right here, knowing there's no right or wrong answer of what is on your emotional heart. knowing that you are here in the practice, breathing and being you is enough. And then I'd like to invite you in this emotional heart space to envision what color represents gratitude for you. Notice I didn't say your favorite color, the color you have on, but what color, what energy, what represents gratitude in your heart space? And then this is your opportunity to invite gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness into this color, into this space with each breath in and each breath out. And sometimes the thankfulness are big things, but know that it could be the everyday, the simple, the ordinary, the gratitude that shows up for you. Keep letting that come into this space. Let that color, that energy get brighter and brighter. And then as you're offering this gratitude, notice if that includes yourself, or is it room to include others? Giving it to yourself, those around you. Start to breathe in. Let that color get brighter as it extends far and farther and farther. And then with each breath in, each breath out. And as you extend this gratitude, you feel this gratitude. Connect. You take it all in for yourself and you share it with others. Take another full breath in. When you're ready, open mouth, release. And then for the next 10 rounds of breath, maybe even saying it to yourself silently, out loud, come to your gratitude of mentioning 10 things that you're grateful for. I am grateful for today. you fill in your 10 with each breath in. I am grateful for, and with each breath out, you just name it. Your practice, your gratitude. And whether you receive it and give it all to yourself or share that with others, knowing there's no wrong way to be in your heart space. Just breathe and feel and be. And when you're done with your affirmations of gratitude, we'll seal all of that in with one full breath in. As you can imagine, your color, your gratitude extending all the way out with the exhale. Go ahead and slowly start to open your eyes and give yourself some movement. And then maybe with this little bit of time that you've spent with yourself and stillness, that when you come to seeing the color, whatever color, your color of gratitude, maybe that little big thing, that little thing, that big thing, whatever, and whomever you have invited into this practice of gratitude, that extends not only in this moment, but you're training, you're creating this marathon, you're building up. And so each step, each thing that you run into, you can connect with this practice. And so that is the second practice. So one was a guided practice of giving your mind something to tether, to hold on to, so that when you want to go chase a squirrel, maybe you're already in this. So you can find there's I think I shared with them last week and I'll share again, the tools, there's Headspace, there's Insight Timer, there's Buddhify, there's a lot of different apps, and you can just Google, free meditation apps, and a lot of them have guided meditations. And they can be anywhere from 1 minute to 20 minutes, or you choose how your schedule. Remember, you're not a monk. You're not going to go sit into a cave unless you want to do that. I've done 5-day silent meditations. There is a purpose for that also. But unless you are specifically carving out that time, then find a meditation and a practice that will resonate with you and that is sustainable for you. That goes into the practice, and that's also into the posture. So if you want to go back and look at last week's, we did 3 different meditations that involved like little short walking meditation, a 5 senses, and a counting breath. Those are also little short things that you can do into your everyday life and your everyday practice, tools and tips that you can start to create your own meditation practice. And with that, I think I will turn it back over, because my notes are all now like, to Katie. I do have one journal, I did have journal prompts. So last week, the journal prompt was to try those different meditations. This week, your journal prompt is to notice, when do the squirrels appear for you? When does your brain or your mind, when do you get distracted? And then the second one is to, how can you tether yourself? How can you take a breath? And maybe that's just taking 5 rounds of breath in, breath out to return back to the present, so that you can continue on to what your original, thing that you were doing. So notice when the squirrels have come up for you. And like I said, don't beat yourself up about it, because that's also a practice of like, oh man, I'm doing it wrong. No, you're doing it. So yeah, just do it. And let me know how that works for you with the chasing squirrels. And back over to you, Kate.
Thank you so much, Kirsten. I'm definitely going to be tracking my squirrels this week for sure. So thank you everybody again for joining us for meditation, and thank you to Kirsten for another great session. We invite you to explore additional mindfulness resources in the library collection, including meditation books and DVDs, which are available right now on Hoopla. For more information about our health initiatives, summer reading, and upcoming virtual programs, just go to www.saclibrary.org. We'll be back next Saturday, and we hope to see you then. For the Sacramento Public Library, for Kirsten and myself, thank you so much, and be well. Bye.